TPR.
Which I had. Yes, yeah.
तो ठीक है.
वो अच्छा है, but I don't carry it around. But maybe I should. मेरा ये
Yeah, it
problem है कि I
depends.
need to have a traveling setup.
Yeah, क्योंकि Blue वालों का ना, they have a mic which is a smaller mic called the Snowball. That's a bit.
I had that before, but it's
yeah.
so wibbly wobbly.
It is
that
quite
it-
wobbly. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Everyone, welcome to episode 207. This is the February accompanying episode for the Hamnawa Select playlist. Before we start, quick poll: Zirak beard, yes or yes? Only two options. Thank you for voting. हाँ जी, हमारी एक और playlist आ गई है. We started off in the middle ना. मैं सोचा था अभी बसमा से बात होगी, लगा अच्छा मार्च वाली एपिसोड हो रही है. मैंने कहा नहीं, फरवरी वाली. एंड देन आई वाज एडिटिंग द क्लिप्स फ्रॉम द जनवरी एपिसोड. तो ये क्लिप्स कौन सी? मैंने कहा ये जनवरी की, लेकिन अभी तो फरवरी खत्म हो रहा है. तो व्हाट आई वाज थिंकिंग वाज बीच में somehow we had managed to get early episodes now. Or अब I think we are back to where I think we
this
stayed.
is just I am falling behind. So January I fell behind, and then but that was a recording failure. That was not
Sure.
I think है ना कुछ scheduling का में कुछ issue or
I
not.
don't
I don't remember.
Maybe.
This time I was on vacation for a week, so
Sure.
which is why
Sure.
our February महीना भी छोटा है. So we
I like the second. I like the second reason more.
अगले 2 दिन से हमें क्या मिल जाना था. But the playlist we had most of it 10 days ago, I think.
Yeah, you sent
पिछले
me a
10
while
दिन के
ago.
गाने तो नहीं मैंने डाले, but we didn't have time to release it. So I think it's just running behind. अभी हमनवा का भी बहुत सारा मटेरियल पड़ा हुआ है जो मैंने निकाला नहीं.
भाई वो तुम्हारा इंटरव्यू वाली एपिसोड कब आ रही है? मैं कर दूं एडिट?
यार एडिट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, सिर्फ पोस्ट करना है.
ओह अच्छा,
ये हाल है इस वक्त. No, but hopefully I will get on it, and then March में हम करते हैं कि early Ramzan, if not
oh yeah, because that's also a thing coming up. Ramzan में, now this might be aiming too high. Ramzan में music releases are usually low. तो अगर हम ऐसा कुछ कर लें कि बजाय एंड ऑफ रमज़ान प्लेलिस्ट के, अगर रिलीजेस कम होने हैं वैसे भी, we were thinking बीच में ना of doing like some sort of like a themed episode, like drama OSTs या best cricket anthems or something which has already been done or something like that. Maybe we could do something like that. अब हर कोई गाना निकाल लेगा रमज़ान.
तो नहीं होगा ना. अब होगा क्या कि अभी मार्च के बहुत सारे गाने प्री रमजान निकल गए हैं जो इस प्लेलिस्ट में नहीं है. पिछले एक हफ्ते में बहुत गाने निकले, जिस एक हफ्ते में मैं छुट्टी पे था और मैंने प्लेलिस्ट तैयार कर दी थी. बहुत गाने निकल गए. वो सारे गाने आएंगे मार्च की प्लेलिस्ट में, जो हम होपफुली अगले 2 हफ्ते में तैयार करेंगे. फिर हम वो एपिसोड जब भी रिकॉर्ड करेंगे, या रमजान से पहले होगा या रमजान के पहले हफ्ते में होगा, वो कवर हो जाएगा. फिर होगा अप्रैल वाला एपिसोड. अप्रैल 10-11 को होगी ईद, और उस दिन निकलेंगे 25 गाने. तो हम ये करते हैं कि उसके बाद रिकॉर्डिंग रखते हैं.
हाँ तो होना ही हो, ऐसे ही होगा. Because अच्छा अप्रैल में 20, I think end of April I'm traveling myself.
तो बस ठीक है, ईद पे गाने सुनने के लिए तैयार हो जाए.
हाँ, yeah. Assignment, Eid assignment, listen to music. हाँ, क्योंकि then we'll have to record, I think it's the 20th ना. Audience, if you're still here with us, आप जरूर हम अपना schedule decide कर रहे हैं. हाँ, 10-12 को है ना शायद ईद. Yeah, तो फिर उसके that's the weekend right after. ठीक है. I mean, I have to do nothing. It's all on you. लेकिन मैं भी ready हूँ.
ठीक है, we will be ready. ईद पे बहुत सारे गाने सुनेंगे और कुछ आर्टिस्ट से कहेंगे हमें प्री रिलीज भेज दें प्लीज, ताकि हम होमवर्क इजी हो जाए हमारा.
Yeah, what is that thing about? This is an old person question. People put out these links and they're like, pre-save my song. This is a very Spotify thing. What is this? I've never done it. I'm like, जब आएगा मैं सुन लूँगा.
Yeah, it's just a thing where if you pre-save it, then the Spotify like tells you that it was released. So I think they do some extra follow-up.
Or you get a
Um,
notification?
yeah, I think when you open the app, it shows it to you, or it like throws it in a playlist. But basically, it's a way of capturing interest when people discover your post, as opposed to after when your song is released. So it's a good way of capturing some early
Right,
interest. The App
right.
Store पे भी अब आप app release करते हैं, you can pre-order. So when I
Okay,
released the app, you could pre-order it, which basically meant people said, हाँ हमारे phone पर डाल दें जिस दिन भी release हो. And
okay.
that meant that when people saw my post, instead of waiting and then remembering, they could just do it then.
Right,
So it's a smart thing to do. I don't think
right.
most people do it, but for the people that do, it's a chance that there are people that are interested and may have lost out when the song was released. So
Yeah, yeah.
if
It's
you're an
that thing
artist and
of
you're not doing it, you should.
attention spans and algorithmic feeds के गाने के रिलीज के बाद आपने बेशक प्रमोट कर भी दिया और मैंने नहीं देखा, तो कास्टिंग अ वाइडर नेट. ओके.
इसमें जो इशू है वो ये कि हर प्लेटफॉर्म का अपना सिस्टम है, तो आप एक
आई
दफा
हैव
तो
ओनली
नहीं कर
सीन दिस फॉर
सकते.
स्पॉटिफाई सो फार. हाँ.
हाँ, तो आप हर प्लेटफॉर्म पे आप उनकी जो भी नुआंसेस हैं उनके लिए पर्टिकुलर कर रहे हैं, बहुत मुश्किल काम है. दिस इज व्हाई all of these like DistroKid type companies are important, and it's also why management that does this for a bunch of artists where they remember and they have a workflow sorted out is important and necessary. um, why these companies are existing now is because they can handle every platform pretty well and they have workflows, but
Yeah.
every artist can't stay on top of them. But
हाँ.
yeah, it's just something you have to do.
That's interesting. वैसे कि the new work that has been created by all these companies that have automated things but differently.
Yeah.
अच्छा. Okay. तो इस दफा की प्लेलिस्ट में again we have several songs. A few repeat songs, like repeat in the sense के one artist has multiple songs on the thing. I did some selections and फिर मैंने जीरक को दे दिया. The way this works is Zirak sent me the playlist. This is if you want to recreate an episode at home. Xerox sends me the playlist, and then उसमें से my very tedious effort वाला काम is कि I just listen to the music, and मैं Xerox को तीन चार गाने बताता हूँ कि हाँ इनके बारे में ये बात कर लेते हैं, and then Xerox again apparently goes and does a whole bunch of homework to bring additional context to the rambling that I ensue in. तो मैंने आपको भेजे कुछ गाने. We can talk. How much work did you need to do considering you came back from holiday yesterday?
A bit. क्योंकि मैं 40 गाने जब आप सुन रहे हो, आप थोड़ा सा you don't have anything intelligent to say about all 40 without doing some homework.
Yeah.
So I had to do a little bit. Some of these people are people that we've never talked about before, so it's not that we have context.
Yeah.
बार बार हम मानू को नीचे कर देते हैं. तो मानू का जब भी कोई गाना आए, you and I probably don't need a ton of context because we've
Yeah.
heard all the previous stuff.
Yeah.
But with some of these people, you have to be like, अच्छा कहाँ से निकल रहा है, कौन है, नए लोग हैं, तो who are they at all, and sometimes you and I just have to say we don't know. We have no
Yeah.
idea who these people
Yeah.
are, but it's a good song. So it's mostly just that, which is like, what context is there about this group of artists. तो
Okay.
कभी पर कुछ मिल जाता है. ये जो पहले हैं हमारे रैफ सपेरा और नसीबो लाल वाला गाना है. For that, I
Yeah,
found
I'm
some really good
surprised.
material.
Oh, you did? Acha.
हाँ.
I'm surprised this guy showed up on the thing because I had to go and look up his इनका belong कहाँ से है. And वो मुझे नहीं मिल रहा कहीं से ना. Until I found this one interview where he alluded to the fact that his family is from West Punjab, which is
Usually
now.
किरण थप्पड़ का वो है ना, सबस्टैक का कोई था.
I don't know. It was a black background wala page with white text on it.
ChatGPT, where was this?
So usme he was saying कि हाँ, families from West Pakistan, which West Punjab, which now we consider Pakistan. I was like, अच्छा. Because obviously the main focus of this is also Pakistani or Pakistan adjacent artists का होना. So that was surprising. I had heard of him. I heard another. I think Nachle Soniya was the song, which I had
Yes.
heard a few months ago through a TikTok trend, which was referencing how RDB style classic UK Bhangra music was quote unquote back. And then when this song starts, the Nasibo Wala song, it's an excerpt of somebody doing some interview somewhere, which could be a podcast, specifically talking about how diaspora Bangla music has gotten big. Lekin Raf Saperra साहब वापस आ गए हैं and showing that the UK scene is still active. So very like, reminiscent or referential perhaps to that trend. Khair, how did you come across it? This is the Nasibo connection?
So I had come across Nachle Soniye before.
Yeah. Yeah.
तो वो तो Natasha and I had been listening to
Sure.
Nachle Soniye. But I had lost track of
Yeah.
that was Raf Saperra. Then Leila found Raf Saperra and she found the Nasibo Lal song. And then we were like, अच्छा, ये बंदे कहाँ से belong करते हैं?
Right.
And so the conclusion was the same, which is that he is a UK, what he calls himself a Punjabi music artist.
Yeah.
So he is part of the Punjabi music genre. Achha, so we'll put this on hold for a second. But he considers himself British. His family is Pakistani. So now the question then becomes, अब हम जो track कर रहे हैं, उसमें हम Pakistani music में does it fit the border or not? So usually my line is, if they either claim to be Pakistani themselves, then yes.
Why is there a thumbs up in your video?
Oh my God.
Have you done something?
Apple. nahi, Apple Zindabad. Usually I talk with my thumb out. And then if it thinks you're giving a thumb up, then Apple is like, oh, we should give you animated thumbs up also.
Really? Wow. Oh, Steve Jobs is sure glad he's dead.
Yeah, actually, the joke is that वो जो therapist के portals होते हैं, they give warnings now to people being like, if you see animated reactions, these are just Apple things. Do not worry. Because they can be really triggering. You know, कि आपको बात कर रहे एकदम से fireworks आ गए या thumbs up आ गया.
Horrible jokes are बहुत सारे, but we'll move on to back to as quickly as possible. हाँ, अच्छा,
So the question is, how do you define the boundaries of Pakistani music, and is that worth it or not? Anyway, अब जैसे Hamnawa ने कहा, we will only track Pakistani music. अच्छा, Pakistani music में where does a genre like Punjabi music fit? अच्छा, Punjabi music क्या है? AP Dillon भी Punjabi music है, सिद्धू भी Punjabi music है, Raf Saperra भी Punjabi music है, Nasibo Lal भी Punjabi music है, और Manu भी Punjabi music है. So this is one of those areas where Pakistani music as a defining factor is very limiting. Like Bollywood is now a genre. Bollywood is not just Indian music. Right? Bollywood make एक sense है. Bollywood music can be anywhere. Right. It mostly comes from India, but it could be anywhere. And so now जब Raf Saperra जब बात करता है Punjabi music की, he talks about Punjabi music as part of a kind of Punjabi culture thing that is cross-border. It sources from this place that is now in India and Pakistan, but is no longer Indian, no longer Pakistan. British Punjabi music, Canadian Punjabi music is a whole different scene. जिसको लोग इंडिया में भी सुन रहे हैं, बाकी दुनिया में सुन रहे हैं. और अब the thing that about Raf Saperra that is interesting is that it is Punjabi music that is broken through to non-Punjabi audiences. Right. So Nachle Soniye and some other music is playing in regular British clubs.
हमने कल हमने इत्तेफाकन नचले सोनिए की वीडियो लगाई because I was thinking about all this and I'd never seen the video before and I was surprised by English subtitles in the song, also with like Soniye translated to like the closest equivalent English word, which in the intention is obviously कि आपको पंजाबी या उर्दू हिंदी नहीं आती, which probably means English. So and AP Dillon also did was it Coachella?
AP
was that AP Dillon? Who did Coachella?
नहीं, वो तो दिलजीत था ना.
Diljit.
Yeah. Diljit, I believe, is still India based, if I'm not wrong.
It's not America, Canada based.
I don't know. Maybe.
Sorry.
I will double check. This is why we do homework. Diljit was not out of syllabus question.
Yeah.
लेकिन so Raf Saperra is interesting for this reason. अच्छा, इस केस में तो he has done a song with, he's done a music. क्या हो गया यार, मुझे हम कब से कर रहे हैं ये?
It's great.
He's done a music. He's done a song with Nasibo Lal, तो ये तो definite in था ना playlist में. But I think Raf Saperra is interesting for just general reasons as well. He's interesting to Pakistani audiences. It makes sense for me to track him. I don't think he necessarily identifies as Pakistani. That's usually my bar. Either you identify as Pakistani or you're first generation. But in his case, he doesn't. And so I wouldn't classify him as a Pakistani musician. But in this case, it made sense to at least like take a look. और ये गाना भी वाफर है.
Yeah. the technical term. क्योंकि RDB is huge in Pakistan, especially that golden era of early 2000s wala RDB. They have come to Pakistan a lot, in live performances. Vagara. And Raf Saperra music, I think the first comparison everyone makes is it has that retro sound, 100% RDB
Right.
wali sound from the 2000-2010 wala period. Um, and he yeah, the Punjabi thing I also found interesting at how hard it was for me to find out where his family is from. Because usually people mention it, right? Like if you ask Imran Khan, he will say that from Pakistan. I think he's from Gujarat or something, right?
Mhm.
Pakistan wala. So but Raf Sapera absolutely not saying, except for that one thing that I found. So this was also interesting for me to consider कि अच्छा, did his family move there before partition? Even if they moved after the partition, does that mean that the Punjabi identity, because the big thing in the partition was Punjab was being split, um, did are there pockets where Punjab never split, out in like a mentality sort of way कि हम तो यहाँ आ गए, पर वहाँ उधर सब कॉन्टिनेंट में जो भी हुआ हो, whatever, but like we have that connection still. And is that what he's grown up in or believes in? Which was interesting thought experiment. हम फोन करते हैं अभी आंचल मल्होत्रा को, कॉल,
Well,
phone a friend.
yeah, one of the really interesting things is if you listen to a lot of Punjabi rap, there is this romanticization of Lahore.
Hmm.
Even Indian side Punjabi rap, people that have never visited
Yes,
Lahore, वो
yes,
Lahore
yes.
की ऐसे बात करते हैं as some sort of holy place that they
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
visit.
yeah.
Um, so, like Natasha's pointed this out to me a bunch, and we've talked about how Lahore is this kind of fictional,
Hmm,
magical
hmm, hmm,
Punjabi hip
hmm.
hop place,
Yeah.
but वो हमने कभी उसको own नहीं किया किसी तरह, क्योंकि हमारे लिए अब वो एक
Which is
Pakistani,
more a city in Pakistan. Yeah.
right? I think the Pakistaniyat here is becoming less and less useful by the day as a genre identifying discourse. अच्छा, अब
Okay.
मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि अब when Hamnawa started, we started thinking of Pakistani music as a thing to write about because actually Pakistani music का एक separate situation है. Indian music नहीं है, Bollywood music नहीं है. There's a different story. Let's start talking about it. But now that I think about like when hip hop fans listen to देसी हिप हॉप, तो वो देसी हिप हॉप एक सेपरेट सीन है जिसको वो DHH टैग होता है हर जगह. जो
Hmm.
सारी रिएक्शन वीडियोस हैं वो नहीं देखते कि पाकिस्तानी गाना है कि इंडियन गाना है, वो देसी हिप हॉप देखते हैं.
अच्छा.
अब वो हिप हॉप वाले लोग हमनवा नहीं आते कि पाकिस्तानी हिप हॉप क्या है. नहीं, उनको ऊपर कोई देसी, वो इंडियन सुने या वो पाकिस्तान का सुने, डजंट मैटर. जिन्होंने पंजाबी सुनना होगा वो पंजाबी सुन लेंगे, जिन्होंने सिंधी सुनना होगा वो सिंधी सुन लेंगे. बट द पाकिस्तान इंडिया डिवाइड इज नॉट रेलेवेंट एज
Is
सच
it not relevant,
anymore.
or would you say is like becoming less relevant by the day for people interested in the genre?
I think that your definition is better, the second
Hmm.
one. What I mean to
Hmm.
say is, as a kind of organizational influence, it's probably no longer as useful.
Right.
Like
Right.
audience does not go and say कि मुझे पाकिस्तानी गाने सुने, इंडियन नहीं सुने. कभी कभार होता भी है, like
करते
especially
हैं,
when
हाँ,
political
हाँ.
things
Yeah.
get worse. But from a kind of pure artistic angle, it doesn't work. And so ये Raf Saperra का जो article किरण थापड़ मेरे पास आया, I think that might be the one you've read as well. The way he talks about Punjabi music as this sort of global phenomenon about Punjabi culture, and there is some sort of Punjabiness that is
Yeah.
detached from the reality of partition and detached
Hmm.
from the reality of the rest of the subcontinent. It suggests that there is another kind of organizational force here.
Hmm.
ठीक है,
Hmm.
अच्छा अब हम देखेंगे कि पाकिस्तान इंडिया में collabs कितनी हो रही हैं गानों में in different genres,
Yeah.
despite the kind of economic issues. Ali Sethi और Aruja साहब किस तरह काम कर रहे हैं with people from all across the world.
Wo
The
Tucker Duck had Indian guitarists on their songs.
right,
Young Stunners have done. Faris has done cross border hip hop collabs.
Umair has
Umair.
done for Krishna.
Hmm.
तो बहुत सारे collabs आ रहे हैं इस तरह. So again, in that case, the genre becomes more important, right? And so for people like me who are trying to draw a line about, no, we will cover Pakistani things, it becomes less and less uh, of a clear
Simple, I
line
suppose.
about
It's less cut and dry. Like so many artists that we pick up, like Aleem, or we've talked about how they're from Pakistan, but majority audience might be India in terms of numbers. तो हाँ, it seems, and then पिछले एपिसोड में तो वो भी कह रहे थे ना कि how, because of the financial technical issues in Pakistan, it might be better for people to have a international established base from which they can access their audience without the limitations that come with being in Pakistan. क्योंकि the audiences exist across borders, right? Which I suppose again just reinforces the point that the cultural connections as they are being drawn out in the music are stronger than the existing geographical delineations. Uh, क्या जबरदस्त सेंटेंस एक मैंने कंस्ट्रक्ट किया, but
There's no better thing when using a great sentence to finish it off with, wow, what a
immediately
great sentence.
immediately हाँ तो तो yeah, I think the फिर लेकिन वो इशू आता है in my mind कि how do you solve this problem. I think the problem perhaps cannot be solved in the sense कि वही जो separations हैं in terms of logistics वो तो रहेंगी, but the it makes sense that this is happening from a artistic cultural output perspective, because the cultural relations and shared cultures go back beyond the current borders.
Great. And I think if you come across art that makes organization difficult, then that art is probably good. It's a
Hmm.
good rule. हमारे साथ जब भी होता है कि हमें समझ नहीं आता कि किधर फिट होंगे, कहाँ से देखें इनको. That's usually a good sign, because it indicates that something is changing. If things are
Yeah.
too easy to fit, then you're like, कहाँ fit हो रहा है,
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a good segue, so I'm going to use it if it works for you.
Very excited.
अच्छा.
हाँ.
So अगला गाना हमने रखा होता मोरू और
हाँ.
Mekaal Hasan Band.
So, before you begin your segue, I must put out my disclaimer. I have said before, I am anti fun in music, and Mooroo I associate a lot with fun music. And then a few weeks ago, when I was with my normie crew and we had talked about previous episode mein in the cars, someone said, Mooroo ka bhi to gana hai Mekaal Hasan Band ke sath. And I thought they were lying. And जब हमने देखा, there was a Mooroo song and आग लग गई मेरे को कि why did either of them do this? And both, now that song and another song are on this playlist. The first song I have the fun issue with, but the second song I surprisingly to myself liked more. But khair, construction wali baat pe now back to Zirak and काम की बात है.
अच्छा, अब बात हो रही genre की, ठीक
Yeah.
है? अच्छा, so what Mooroo has done is that he has sung a very Mooroo song, as you have
Yeah.
identified. Like,
Yeah.
this is very much in Mooroo's wheelhouse. Mooroo has put out 2 EPs in the last 2 or 3 months, I think.
अच्छा.
अच्छा, अब इंटरेस्टिंग बात यह है कि इन EPs पे तलंजुम भी है, शारे भी है, I think उमैर भी है, और अब मिकाल हसन भी है. So now you are saying, why are all these big people working with Mooroo, which clearly suggests what the status of Mooroo is in this scene. अब status क्या है कि Mooroo ने वो फारिस के साथ गाना निकाला था आज से
काफी
10
पहले.
साल पहले,
Yeah.
ठीक है?
Yeah.
और फिर then Mooroo had this great album around 2015, 2016. मैं बोल रहा हूँ, but it was actually like one of the sort of
Yeah.
breakthrough albums of that time.
Huh. He made
It
like
was
many crazy videos of those songs himself
crazy
as well.
videos, and the music itself was also progressive in the
Yeah.
sense that it was different from what was being done by the rest of the industry, and
Yeah.
it was pushing the industry forward in some way.
Yeah.
अच्छा, अब इधर हुआ ये है कि मोरू ने फिर कई साल गाने नहीं निकाले, because Mooroo is a multidisciplinary
Multi-hyphenate.
artist. He does
Yeah.
videos and whatever. अब वो music नहीं निकाल रहा था, ठीक है. So now he has come back and released a bunch of albums together, but they sound very much like the music he was making in 2015, 2016. इतनी देर में हुआ ये है कि इंडस्ट्री पूरी हो गई है उल्टी 2020 के बाद से.
Yeah.
And this art is stuck in that old bucket. अच्छा, जो अब इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये कि नए बच्चे जो हैं वो क्यों हैं इसमें, तलंजुम क्यों हैं, शारे क्यों हैं, उमैर क्यों हैं. And I think to them Mooroo is this sort of older person, kind of like Shamoon, people that were there before, who set this bit of the industry up. So for them, I
Right.
think it is a kind of almost honor to be on the album,
Sure.
even if it doesn't move their careers or the music industry forward.
Right.
So for them, so I feel like Mooroo has received a lot of kind of votes of confidence that have increased his stature of stardom, right? It's kind of recognition almost that all of these kids that we now think are trailblazers are working with this guy. Shamoon's album was similar,
Yeah.
which I don't think Shamoon's album will be remembered as much as, say, for example, like Hassan's album might be remembered, but um, everybody that was on Shamoon's album indicates how big Shamoon is to all of these artists.
Yeah.
Similarly with Mooroo. अच्छा
Huh.
Mekaal Hasan क्यों आए इसमें?
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. So Mooroo and Mekaal, it seems, have spent a lot of time together. Mooroo has spent time in Mekaal's studio. They have a podcast from about a year ago where it's clear that their journey goes
Yeah.
back away. So I think Mekaal Hasan is now not only mixing and producing, but also playing guitars on the song. And it might just be Mekaal alone. So on Spotify, it's credited to the band. On YouTube,
Yes.
it's credited to Mekaal Hasan
अच्छा
alone.
अच्छा.
So अब मुझे नहीं पता कि दोनों में से किस which is more accurate, but
Yeah.
let's assume it's Mekaal Hasan
हाँ.
primarily. I think what this indicates is also this sort of relationship or this sort of homage to a different time in Pakistani music. जो different था चलती है, जो studio based culture.
Conscious or just natural?
I think natural in the way that it's easier to work with, right? मतलब ये कि
Sure.
आपको पता है कि काम कैसे होता है, किस तरह का म्यूजिक बनाना है, and so the sort of music that they create is very guitar based, almost punk rock music with Mooroo at the front and Mekaal at the back. Like when you listen to it, you शुरू में before you went into it, your reaction was ये कैसे हो सकता है?
Yeah.
And then when you listen to it, I'm assuming you saw glimpses of both of them doing what they do.
Yeah. Mooroo very decidedly is doing what he does. I was thinking about Mekaal Hasan as credited as the Mekaal Hasan Band, and everything I've heard from them has either been very prog rock at its most Western, otherwise full, incorporating Eastern classical fusion elements, and this has none of those. इसमें I was thinking कि यार अच्छा they're taking like a very different direction Mekaal Hasan Band और इनके पास तो वो they had a flautist as well. Flautist होता है flutist fluter they had and वो सब किधर चला गया. But now that you're saying there's perhaps only Mekaal Hasan, that makes more sense. But even in that instance, I haven't heard Mekaal Hasan do a lot of pop-ish, more.
This is like Mekaal Hasan playing on the Noori album.
Sure, which is, I think the Noori sound is easier in my head to associate with Mekaal Hasan versus the Mooroo indie pop, indie rock sound. But I mean, it's great. Double Game was perhaps too fun for my taste, but Waqt Hi Batayega wala jo gana hai, that I felt the duo gelled more in my mind with both their traits. But yeah, it was quite surprising that this happened. Um, do you think that Mooroo is consciously making Mooroo Purani type of music and not pushing the boundary, or is it just he's just doing what he does and people are happy to be a part of it?
I don't think most artists care where the industry is at and whether they're pushing it forward or
Right.
not. I think
Right.
artists make what they want to make, and then sometimes they get bored and they push it forward. And when they get bored and they're pushing it forward, they may or may not survey the industry and see what everybody else is doing and try to make it. In this case with Mooroo, I think he is making what he makes. And
I feel to sort of add a caveat to that, because I don't obviously disagree fully. What I mentioned पिछले episode में या उससे पिछले में, Afrobeats type music has gotten really popular in the Western world पिछले 1-2 सालों में. And also you can trace it by TikTok में dances जो है ना more Afrobeat style are getting more popular. हर खबर पे नजर. So I have started seeing this in the past 2-3 months in the songs that in the Hamnawa playlist that come across. उनका influence बढ़ता जा रहा है with the newer people, even with some of the established people. So I feel that is not just के artists are making what they're making. Sometimes there's also like a आजकल ये चल रहा है. So let's try this as well, which might be a thing that I don't know. I was gonna say maybe it's a newer artist thing and established people don't do it, but I think maybe established people also try new stuff. Yeah, like in the Mooroo songs sound like a Mooroo song with like perhaps different people featuring, different production quality, perhaps even though the songs were super tightly produced by Libby, but not like wow, can't believe Mooroo did this.
yeah, it fits into your mental model.
Yeah.
Right? For good or bad.
Yeah.
And so that's, if you're interested in that kind of music that like makes sense, yes, this is
Yeah.
very much more of that same kind of music.
Yeah.
But it's not anything different or hard to categorize.
Huh. I think more interesting was कि अच्छा Mekaal Hasan doing this sort of stuff. Chalo,
Yeah.
that's
The
new.
notability is the collaboration
Yeah.
almost.
And this is, you're saying this is Mooroo ki apni album rather
Correct.
than Mooroo and Mekaal Hasan doing an album together.
Correct. Mooroo has put out, let's see,
This is
uh,
Kirdar. Acha, Kirdar has an EP, 3 songs, one with Mekaal Hasan and one with Mujam. I don't know who that is. And then there's also Bittersweet with Omer Share, Omer Talanjum, Omer.
hmm.
Acha. Good.
Yeah, so 4 songs in the Kirdar EP.
Yeah, because उससे
He
पहले
spelled
his
he
album has
spelled
been
Kirdar with a Q, which is my biggest
सही है.
problem with this.
Really? किरदार काफ से नहीं होता?
नुक्तों वाले काफ से तो नहीं होता,
I
डंडे
think
वाले
नुक्तों
काफ
वाले
से
काफ से
होता है.
होता है.
अगर इधर मैं फेल हो गया तो बस बहुत डांट.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think?
edit कर देना please
Oh.
भाई.
Yeah, I think Kirdar is नुक्तों वाली काफ. Anyway. But great segue. Proud of you for doing this. And surprised. I don't know why. Why did my normie gang? Khair, I suppose because they're normie gang. मैं सोच रहा हूँ उनके पास कैसे आया ये इतना, latest release type scene. Maybe they're following Mooroo अलग से, because Mooroo also has fans from outside the music space. So vlogging ये वो. And then people discover कि अच्छी music भी करते हैं. तो yeah, multi hyphenate. पिछली दफा मैं अभी क्लिप्स एड कर रहा था ना, बड़ा यूज किया. Aggressive usage of multi hyphenate. खैर, anything more on this or do we move to the next?
Let's move on.
ठीक है. Then there was a song which is in Sindhi. We are expanding. By we I mean Zirak is expanding the coverage of Pakistani music, and we now have a Sindhi song, which I was like, मैं किसको भेजूं? I think this is Sindhi or Saraiki. I am not sure. Irfan Junaid. Is this a Sindhi song? Exploitation of contacts जो है ना वो यहाँ तक पहुँच गए. And he said yes, it is a Sindhi song, so I can confirm to you all कि ये Sindhi गाना. And it's great. I saw that it also has a video. This song, अच्छा हाँ नाम भी बता ही देते हैं हम. This song is Wadiyon something. Wadiyon, I don't know what the
Galhyun.
last word is. Galhyun, by Babar Mangi and Hasnain Samo. Very nice song. Vibes again were like, if you say that this person is like, this is a super pop song. It has some melodies which I would consider very folk adjacent, folk inspired. There's obviously a hip hop rap bit interspersed through it. Lekin, how did you come across this artist? Because the video I saw was a couple months old.
So Babar Mangi I discovered because our friends who used to run the Lost Ox,
Okay.
जो
I know that
एक
name.
इंस्टा पेज आया था, हाँ,
हाँ.
oh, they had posted a few Babar Mangi songs, which is how I discovered Babar Mangi.
Acha.
Babar Mangi has put out a lot of Urdu rap and also Sindhi rap recently. It's very good.
Okay.
So that's how I followed him. But Leila found this song. So Leila, who is on,
Is Babar
is one of
Mangi
Hamnawa's
the
writers.
person who's rapping, or is he the one who's
Yes,
singing?
he's the one who's rapping.
Acha. So his name comes first in the credits. Acha. Babar Mangi and his acha मैंने उसके page पे गया
Babar
तो
Mangi is fairly established. So if you
Right.
see some of his other songs, they're very good.
हाँ.
And very different from other rap, but very much still hip hop.
Yeah.
इसमें जो इंटरेस्टिंग बात थी कि हसनैन सामो एक तो सजाद अली 2.0, like मैंने सुना and it could have been Sajjad Ali singing.
Right.
It just so very familiar, but obviously not Sajjad Ali. So not Sajjad Ali, great, but fits the bill.
Video भी काफी interesting थी. I mean,
Video बहुत अच्छी थी.
Yeah.
And what I like is the state of non-Urdu and non-Punjabi music, like Pashto, Sindhi, all the other languages of the country, their song and video work being elevated to this level of fidelity.
Sure. Huh.
Right? मतलब इसमें ये कि जैसे मेरे आपके जैसे लोग जो हमें सिंधी, हमें पता भी नहीं कि सिंधी बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं बोल रहे, हम भी कह रहे हैं इंटरेस्टिंग,
Yeah,
यू नो,
yeah,
we're getting
yeah,
it, which is why you can also see, अब जो हमने रैप सपेरा से बात शुरू की थी कि पंजाबी म्यूजिक कैसे, how is it getting out of the its bubble of Punjabi audiences into
yeah.
not just diaspora audiences but also
Not even
broad
desi, yeah, non-desi
non
perhaps.
desi audiences.
Yeah.
And it's these little things like subtitles हुई नहीं है,
हाँ,
गाने में किस किस्म का एलिमेंट है, थोड़ा सा familiar एक वेस्टर्न एलिमेंट है जिसकी वजह से लोग आ रहे हैं. So these
yeah,
little things do add up.
yeah.
Why was Coke Studio so big all over the world? क्योंकि गाने का मतलब तो किसी को नहीं पता था, वो 3 लाइन में सबटाइटल लिख देते थे.
हाँ,
आखिर में तो उन्होंने,
हाँ.
अब वो रोमन उर्दू में भी सबटाइटल लिखते थे, उर्दू में भी सबटाइटल लिखते थे, अंग्रेजी में भी सबटाइटल लिखते थे, तो पूरी दुनिया ने सुननी शुरू कर दी. I'm not saying the subtitles make the song popular, but what I'm saying is that these little things add up
No, no, of
and they
course, it's a
open
big thing.
doors.
हाँ,
Right.
हाँ. All
They
these
open
people
doors.
who do food videos, especially Pakistani food videos, they hire people to do subtitles in like a whole bunch of languages, official people to write that stuff, and you can choose. So there's clearly intense value in adding subtitles.
And so अब इसमें बाबू मंगी ने क्या किया है कि like the video is just high enough quality that people who don't speak Sindhi are like, I'm interested.
Yeah,
I would like to know what you are saying,
yeah.
right? Where you are now making it interesting for me to do the work of figuring out what you are saying because he has opened some other door. And so I prefer this a lot. This is why we like Zahoor when he does his
Mm,
Pashto music, right?
yeah, yeah.
Zahoor bhi ye karta hai, which is that he takes these elements that we do know and find interesting and is saying, okay, but now I'm
It's in
taking
Pashto.
you with
Yeah,
these familiar doors onto my turf. And so, which makes you want to understand his turf and figure out what he's saying, right? Which
yeah,
actually gives you buy in into the artist. So, the
yeah,
artist is making you do work, but making you do work after he has captured your interests by making you not do work.
yeah.
अच्छा, अब प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है, जैसे हम वो सनम मानवी की स्पॉटिफाई के बारे में मैंने बात की हुई है पहले, उसमें यह है कि ऑडियो बिल्कुल ऑफ है, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, टाइटल कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहे. अच्छा,
Yeah.
आप जाएं एनी लोकल आर्टिस्ट जो ट्रेडिशनल फॉर्म में म्यूजिक कर रहे हैं, जो यंग नहीं है, उनका आप स्पॉटिफाई पेज देखेंगे, आप कुछ समझ नहीं आएगा कौन सी चीज़ कब रिलीज हुई, कैसे रिलीज हुई, गाने का नाम क्या है, क्या सिचुएशन है, आर्ट वर्क क्या है, उसकी समझ ही नहीं आता आपको कौन सा गाना कब सुनना है, किधर करना है. मेरे जैसे लोग भी और उसको कैटेगराइज नहीं कर सकते, तो और कोई क्या सुनेगा. So these little things add up, and as a result of which people cannot get into that music.
And if you're platform natives, these things are what you would consider just like minimum requirements. That's how you navigate, the various platforms. अगर वही नहीं है, that immediately in your mind puts up this barrier कि अच्छा मुझे खोजना पड़ेगा कौन करे. And then Sanam Marvi especially is such a weird example of having this issue because many people's first exposure to Sanam Marvi will be Coke Studio, arguably the highest of the highest pedestals, and you're like, अच्छा जी फिर हम इनके Spotify पे भी जाते हैं, वहाँ अगर ये sort of chaos चले तो you get like really confused कि भाई I thought Sanam Marvi तो भाई बहुत ही super established, super official सब कुछ होगा, but if it's not there तो yeah, really that'll put up those barriers, yeah. But I'm happy that there's a, because Sindhi music, Punjabi music obviously very popular, Urdu music चलें quote unquote national language, um, पश्तो म्यूजिक ऑल्सो बहुत सुनने में आती है. पश्तो लैंग्वेज इन लाइक पॉप म्यूजिक यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट इट विद यासिर एंड जावेद एंड ऑल दोस, जावेद जवाद, um,
Jawad.
yeah, लियारी अंडरग्राउंड के थ्रू चलो आपने बलोची भी सुन ली. बट सिंधी आई वुड हैव, आई कांट रिमेंबर a Sindhi pop song I've heard before this, like that I could easily, link in my mind. Which was also why this was really, good to have included in the playlist, and hopefully we'll find more. But हाँ सराइकी भी सुना हुआ है, मतलब मुल्तान सुल्तान का, आई थिंक पिछले से पिछला one of the Zulfi anthems in the PSL for Multan Sultans was in Saraiki. And I was like, हाँ जी ठीक है, सराइकी भी अब मुझे आती है. But, but yeah, it was a good surprise to have these guys in, and the video was really clean and well done. तो बस ठीक है, हमने कर दिया stamp of approval. every every sentence has to end in like some form of chaotic fall off. But yeah, I think I will look at more Babar Mangi songs at the very least.
You'll
Hasnain
enjoy them,
Samo
I think.
also, yeah,
Mm.
Hasnain Samo is also, I liked his part as well. Then there was something, huh. So we have talked about Faisal Kapadia. Faisal Kapadia is trying new things. Faisal Kapadia is working solo. He's doing stuff. There was an unusual thing that happened in this playlist. मैंने तुमसे कहा था ना वो वाला गाना Abyss by
Hmm.
HAVI and Hamza Ali. ठीक
Hmm.
है. I like the song. I had heard it because I listened to the playlist while doing stuff, commuting, whatever. So it stood out. कि अच्छा जी ये गाना मुझे अच्छा लगा. The Faisal Kapadia songs really feel to me, matlab they're notable because he's such a big name of the industry and he's doing stuff on his own. But it seems like even the new stuff he's trying is sort of dated in my view. Lekin jab I heard this song, I was like, if he does something like this, like this whole song, Abyss, I was like, this is the sort of forward-looking vibe that Faisal Kapadia's voice could fit right into. Like, I don't know who's singing, is it Javi or Hamza Ali? Um, but if Faisal Kapadia was singing this song, I was like, it would fit for his thing. And the
That's an
song,
interesting thing. So Faisal Kapadia is working with um, मैं नाम भूल रहा हूँ उनका परवेज मेहदी दो भाई है ना
yeah,
एक सीज वाले और एक दूसरे एक अली
yeah,
परवेज
yeah,
मेहदी
yeah.
हैं और एक एहसन परवेज मेहदी
Hmm.
so I think Faisal Kapadia is working with Ehsan Parvez Mehdi who
Okay.
also works with Ali Noor so I think they are from this like older generation of music making
Yeah,
and Ehsan Parvez Mehdi is the more kind of electronic focus he's the more modern of all of them but still is I would classify as the slightly older generation. I think what you are saying is what Faisal Kapadia needs is to do like an Atif Aslam Go moment. ठीक है Go being the Coke Studio song जो अब्दुल्ला
perhaps.
सिद्दीकी और मानू ने लिखा था जो आतिफ ने गाया
Hmm.
right and so Atif suddenly became this kind of modern thing but he was actually singing a song written by these younger kids
Yeah,
and maybe what you're asking Faisal Kapadia to do is that same thing. And we're not saying Faisal Kapadia don't write songs, but basically, I think what you are saying is that there is a
yeah,
maybe this kind of even more. You're asking for yes, do more of this, but do even more.
yeah. Because obviously Faisal is looking to us for guidance. तो उसमें ये है कि if you, I think what if we are understanding his aims correctly, then I feel that those aims could perhaps be met more effectively if the collaboration was done. If there was like one of the main collaborators was somebody who was much younger than like ये current generation वाले. But even just like उमेर के साथ अगर फैसल कपाड़िया को गाना कर ले, that'll
that's
immediately
a
be different.
that's a good theory. I think there's a more charitable way of looking at it,
Mm.
which is overall I kind of like the album. Faisal
Okay.
Kapadia could sing a phone book and I would like it. Right?
Yeah.
It's very hard not to like anything that he sings.
Okay.
Like Faisal Kapadia does not sing a bad song. You
Huh. Huh.
remember many it's uh, he is very good.
Mm.
This album is very different, obviously,
Mm.
right? So it's not very string, it's not guitar based, it's much more electronic, and he sings with a lot of different other co-singers on the
Yes.
song.
Yes.
So many of them are duets. One of them is like Arabic,
Mm.
Urdu duet, do teen aur bhi hain. So I think it's interesting to listen to. It's interesting what song, what direction he's taking. It sounds to me almost the closest analog I get is Raat Shabnami from String's last album, which
Okay.
was much more electronic. So I feel like he's doing a bit of that as well. I think जो हम बीच में एक चीज जो पिछली डिस्कशन में वो निकाल रहे हैं ना which is that maybe the goal is to become this kind of young hip modern which needs an even more different approach like this is still too tight before I don't know if that's necessarily the goal here right
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
maybe what there is to add some kind of electronic freshness to that older sound it's like basically saying should Foo Fighters be making R&B pop QK because rock is dead. And I
Sure.
don't think that's the answer, right? So
Yeah.
they make their stuff and maybe they add some like elements here or there to make it more modern, but it's different. And so I don't know what Faisal Kapadia's like own interest is. Like I'm glad he's putting out new music. I think it's interesting. I think it's good to see him outside of strings.
Mm.
और जो इनका कोक स्टूडियो वाला गाना था यंगस्टर्स के साथ वो तो that is huge.
See, the
Everybody
thing
loves
is,
it. Everybody loves his bit on it.
yeah, that song is also where I'm drawing some of my assumptions from. Because in the behind the scenes video of that song where Faisal is talking about how he got recruited by Zulfi, वो Faisal said कि भाई मुझे तो करना ही नहीं था, मेरा तो अभी strings खत्म हुआ था, and I was like अच्छा जी I'm gonna take a break, figure out क्या होना है, whatever. And then when he comes into this song, he really appreciated, it seemed, the exposure to new perspective. Coke Studio के तो सारे producers भी, apart from Zulfi, he made a point of getting young producers who are doing a lot of the sort of work that is seen in the industry. So, I was wondering because the sound is, it's definitely Faisal. Whenever a band splits and people go solo, there is almost always an effort to make your own space, which is always a somewhat uphill battle because you're competing against decades of legacy. Um, so you try new things and it takes a while for whatever things to stabilize. But he's definitely कुछ कुछ गाने में वो भी हो रहा है. There's a hip hop element in it. There's foreign चलो singers तो आ ही जाते हैं. So it definitely seemed to me कि I think अच्छा he's trying to एक तो stand out, do his own thing, but also push the sound forward. Which and I think it's not just कि this is a really modern sound that these guys have. ये Abyss वाला जो गाना है. But somehow I feel like तुम भी सुनना जरा फिर से गाना. Just imagine Faisal Kapadia singing the same song, exact same song, but just Faisal Kapadia singing the Abyss song, and it really fits. So I think, and it's not the most modern sound or production Abyss की, but it has this like my video रुक गई. अच्छा, you're back. It has this like ambient synth pop kind of sound, which I think, I don't know if he's trying or if he's considered or whatever. But I think it
He
would
would be
fit
great
his
at.
voice. Yeah,
He would be great at it. Like Umair was doing his atmospherics and Faisal Kapadia
yeah,
was singing on top. That would sound great.
yeah.
Um, I think as a conclusion to what you're saying, I'm glad that Faisal Kapadia is doing solo work that is not strings too.
Sure. Yeah,
Right? Yeah, it's great. I think the first test when a band splits and people start doing solo work is this everybody doing the same thing separately? And I'm glad that this is not that. And I kind of enjoyed the album, so it was great.
mm, mm,
Um, I think what we're also saying is that we would love to see him work with other of these like younger people and younger
yeah,
artists because they
yeah,
would do really new things with Faisal. And it seems that he's interested in doing this stuff anyway, so we would love to see more of that happen. So he's
yeah,
all
yeah,
Zuha Zubairi के साथ तो कर ही रहे हैं काम, but जितने और लोगों के साथ करेंगे, I feel like there's वो youngsters वाला जैसे we have proof of that there would
yeah,
be,
yeah, yeah,
it seems like there would be a lot more interesting stuff to come
yeah.
out. So I would be very intrigued to see that happen. Um,
And not to
yeah,
take anything away from Javi and Hamza Ali. Abyss is a great song. I really liked it. And the video also is so incredibly simplistic. It's nothing. It seems like it's just like a static, not static, but it's like a very basic animation. And it just fits. Like you don't, it doesn't seem like acha ji, ye to, it's not, it's better than a lyric video. Uh, you don't even need a music video after this, but I really liked Abyss
and
a
more
lot.
proof with, again, I haven't heard these names before, so
No,
they're new songs for me, and it's
yeah,
just more proof that there's tons of these artists that have yet to amass thousands of followers that are still
yeah,
putting out really, really good music. And so
yeah,
there's a kind of amplification problem here also, so
हाँ.
which is good sign. One other thing
उसमें
on Faisal
जस्ट
Kapadia,
बिफोर वी,
sorry.
हाँ,
uh,
अबिस का ये हुआ था कि कल हमारे यहाँ दोस्त आए हुए थे एंड वन ऑफ देम वाज नॉर्मी क्राउड एंड वही किसी के अंदर का मंदिर के लिरिक्स इतने सिंपल क्यों हैं. और जैन वाला गाना बहुत अच्छा लगा बिकॉज इट हैज सॉर्ट ऑफ मुश्किल लिरिक्स एंड ईस्टर्न क्लासिकल इश वोकल्स फ्रॉम जैन. अबिस सुन रहा था तो स्केप्टिकल इनटू इट. इज लाइक हाँ चलो ठीक है व्हाटएवर इट सीम्स फाइन. अबिस के अंदर भी मुश्किल लिरिक्स एंड सडन अलाप टाइप सीन आता. ओह एकदम से भाई इंटरेस्ट बढ़ गया. लाइक इन रियल टाइम आई सॉ अ पर्सन गेट कन्वर्टेड टू हावी एंड हमजा अली. तो इम्पोर्टेंट
so
इम्पोर्टेंट
you
शाउट
are
आउट.
saying Salis Urdu loves and Alap.
या वो यू नो कल्चर आप सही से करें तो आप सही से करें ना. अंकल वाली थॉट जो होती है. एनीवे यू weren't saying something about Faisal.
What I was thinking about Faisal Kapadia is what I think would be a slam dunk is if Faisal Kapadia pulled either Johnny Cash or Peter Gabriel and did covers,
Yeah,
because him singing songs that other people are singing, oof, it would be
yeah,
great.
yeah. He has one of the all-time recognizable voices in Pakistani music, not even pop, just like music all over.
Yeah,
Faisal Kapadia, Ali Azmat, Hadi Kakiani, all these people, they have like really standout voices that people associate with like you know moments in our musical history. तो ठीक है जी, फैसल कपाडिया, obviously you're watching and listening or somebody who knows him, तो वो पास कर दीजिएगा आप हमारे recommendations. कंसल्टेंसी के लिए अगर आपको हायर करना हो तो आप देख लें.
प्लीज पॉडकास्ट पे आ जाएं.
या मैं दुबई दुबई आ जाऊंगा मैं. आई थिंक ही लिव्स इन दुबई नाउ. बट या दैट्स नॉट पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन. पता चला लोग कह रहे हैं आप उनका घर का एड्रेस दे दिया. Anyway, any other, so those were my picks from this. One other thing was Kasai. Eva B. There was this thing where Eva B बहुत मशहूर हुई थी ज़माने में, and some old heads, hip hop heads were like, यार ठीक है, she's famous, but for a girl, her rap is fine. वो वाली perspective था ना. And some of them used to be like, she's doing good, but like her lyrics seem very, simplistic or whatever. ठीक है, whatever. So मेरे दिमाग में वो बात बैठ गई, इन्फ्लुएंस हो गया मैं. एंड देन जब मैं कसाई सुन रहा था, मैंने कहा अच्छा हाँ ठीक है, ये तो वैसे हो. बट देन व्हेन आई हर्ड इट, like I maybe skipped through it before she came. Then when I went back to the song, I was like, "Holy shit, Eva B is like going in hard on the song." ये क्या हो गया इसको? Hope her life is great, but the song is also like I haven't heard Eva B sound like this in previous songs. Um, so shout out, I guess, and I sent it to one of those old heads. I was like, "Bro, क्या scene है? Opinions तुम्हारे?" But yeah,
No, I think
crazy
she's
song.
great, and there's uh, like for me, I think I try not to even comment on the kind of demographic aspects that make someone
Sure.
unique, right? Like gender या age. मतलब वो
Mm-hmm.
जो जैसे young बच्चे आते हैं उनका यही बन जाता है कि like for many years some of the early stories about Abdullah Siddiqui were always like, look how young is he.
Yes.
And
Yes.
मतलब और वो उससे कब निकलेंगे, right? Because then it
हाँ.
becomes a kind of entrapping thing, and that's not the most
Yeah.
interesting thing to
Eva
say
B का
about the
था कि
artist.
निकाह पहनती.
Huh.
That was the
And
whole headline.
right,
Um,
and it's again, if uh, it's an interesting thing, but it can't be the entirety of the story always. So
yeah.
there has to be something else.
Yeah.
So I think she gets almost she has a lot of notoriety and is well known because she is like one of the first female rappers from a community where it would be historically hard to do so. She's
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
She's talked about why like covering her face was an important part of being
Yeah.
able to start doing this.
Yeah.
Good for her. And the fact that she's one of the first, like one of the first always matters. Like it matters who the first is. We hold that against people if that is a demographic that we don't like.
Mm.
And if it's a demographic we like, we celebrate it, right? With the first Pakistani rock band, we would always be like, oh, yes, पाकिस्तानी लड़कों ने
Yeah.
देखें पहली दफा हमने रॉक म्यूजिक बनानी शुरू कर दी. लेकिन अगर
हाँ.
कोई पहली लड़की कर ले तो हम कहेंगे ओ अच्छा,
हाँ.
फर्स्ट वुमन,
नहीं,
पर ठीक है ना, फिर तो वो
प्रेशर बहुत
दरवाजा
होगा.
खुले.
Like
नहीं,
prove
फिर
yourself.
अफर्मेटिव एक्शन होगा ना,
हाँ.
या प्रूव योरसेल्फ होगा, या ये
हाँ. हाँ.
it's just basically the demographics are used in a way we want to use them. And so for me, the work is important. So it's
Yeah.
clear that the work here is speaking to you.
Yeah.
And it speaks to a lot of people. Like if you look
Mm.
at the kind of comments under YouTube, like lots of people are looking up to her, and her initial pitch for starting to rap also was talking about issues of लियारी. वहीं जहाँ से बहुत सारे
Sure.
लड़के निकले हैं,
Yeah.
but from a perspective that the guys can't talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody else can,
Mm.
and she can. She has the ability to do it. And most of the people commenting don't have the ability to fully
Huh.
capture them also.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Including us. Like, can we fully understand it? No, I don't think
Mm.
we can.
And there's a
So
lot of award giving type vibes just for acknowledging this, which always also makes me like a bit uncomfortable. कि bro, मतलब इसमें क्या क्या
मतलब हमने कोई बड़ी
hats
बात नहीं
off.
की. This
I
is
know.
literally just us doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, yeah. Bare minimum तो
Hmm.
बहुत trophies दी जाती हैं, but खैर. I think it was a great song. I think it was a really good song, and much to my surprise, because I wouldn't associate. Like I know she's good at rapping stuff, but I perhaps didn't associate the more aggressive bravado kind of work from
Right.
her in the past. And the one thing about that I was thinking about the demographics thing was कि हाँ जी Abdullah Siddiqui so young, Eva B जो है वो निकाह करती हैं. But all of that wears off, and you become obsolete pretty quickly if you don't have the talent to really back it up, right? These things are only novel shuru shuru mein, and it's like a testament to their talent and skill, that they've just gone to, bigger and bigger heights since that initial identifier was attached to them. Apart from this, Meena, bhai, Zishan is very happy to have him back. I think we just like Zishan. This song is also great. सब कुछ ठीक है, but हम सुन के हम खुश हो जाते हैं कि
It's hard
Zishan
not to
bhai.
like Zishan Parvez.
Yeah, yeah. Yasser and Jawad, very good. Also, they've been around for a long while. Uh, और क्या है, आशिफ जाहद, शारे, उमर अंजुम, जैन देख के मैं परेशान हो गया था, but this is another Zain, not Zain Malik. Deposit by Imran Khan. Very surprised to have Imran Khan back. I was thinking एक पूरा मैं episode करते हैं about how important Imran Khan is to the Pakistani music scene, but maybe next time. Hopefully this means, because Imran Khan is not very active, is what I was thinking. He had that one album come out. Maybe he had.
I think he's active in terms of performing. He doesn't release new music that often.
Yeah. Like in this time, since he became famous, Amplifier के time से, like 2-3 albums आप expect कर सकते थे. But he's done that one main album, बेवफा वाली, and then उसके बाद he has like एक दो Bollywood गाने, एक दो अलग singles. So hopefully more music comes out. Heather, I like generally as an artist. So Dhanak was also a fun song from Heather. Anything you want to mention that I've missed, not
Otherwise,
mentioned?
Bayan is on there. Talal has a couple of new songs. One with
Bayan,
Asim
Talal.
Azhar, which I think is the first for them. So notable
Right,
for
it is.
that
Okay.
combination.
Ah.
So yeah, lots of good stuff.
Yeah, DJ Khalifa is a person on this album जिसका मैंने नाम सुना, and I thought acoustic was not what I was expecting, but it was exactly what it was. Which good subversion, DJ Saab. But Haji, good. I think we continue same good problem to have more people, more music, more genres. तो अच्छी बात है, हमारे पास भी कुछ डिस्कस करने को रहता है. ठीक है जी. We'll see you next month. Zirak will be in another place in this house or another place in the world altogether. Who knows? Dadi hogi nahi hogi. Who knows? Lots of things coming up. Good things in the future. Big moves जो कहते हैं ना लोग, हमारे पास big moves हैं. ये हमारे big moves ऐसे हैं, बहुत ही घरेलू level. ठीक है. All right. See you next week.